Marcus Hayes with Fight Hub TV in Washington, D.C. with the one and only Mr. Kenny Porter. Kenny, we got a fight on Saturday night. Gervonta Davis, Hector Luis Garcia. What are your first thoughts on the bout?
My first thoughts is excitement, man. I think this is a guy that's coming in here to give Tank some serious work, right? And Tank's going to have to, really be on his A game. We had a little thing going on last week, and it made me worried about should I even buy a flight to get over here. But we got past that. Now I just hoping that he got his total focus on this guy, because this guy's not an easy, way. He's not a walk in the park.
And definitely, it almost seems a little unfair for there to be such a huge distraction in Tank Davis's camp with an opponent that is not to be taken lightly. How deadly or how good is Hector Luis Garcia at this point in his career?
Well, you know what? I've never really studied Hector. I've only watched one fight. That was the one where he beat the kid out of New York. He beat that kid, Chris Colbert, right? And that's the only fight I've seen of him. But I do know that any fighter that has distractions or loses his focus going into a fight, it can be a problem. So I'm concerned, or was concerned, that they were going to still have the fight. But when they decided to go forward with it, I went ahead and bought my flight. So I'm here for all of it. I see him winning. I see him winning by, if not a stoppage, by a unanimous decision.
And a lot of people kind of share that sentiment. I've talked to tons of people here in D.C. No one's really giving Garcia much of a chance. What do you think Garcia has to be on guard for early in the bout in order to get to the last bell?
I think that Garcia is the type of guy that may put himself in a position to try to land big shots, and when in that position to land big shots, you also putting yourself in a position to get hit with some. So early on, he might want to be a little bit more, careful, so to speak, and to try to get some rounds in with Tank. But Tank's here to put on a show for his city, so I fully expect some fireworks.
Kenny, you haven't been in the opposite corner of Earl Spence Jr. And Terrence Crawford. How do you go in? What goes into preparing a fighter for such a deleterious puncher like Tank Davis?
You know what? My first thing is making sure my guy is prepared with all the things that he needs to be doing for him to be successful. So whatever they're doing to get ready for Tank, the first thing they should be doing is making sure they've got Garcia ready in all the things that he does well. And the things that maybe, for lack of words, he doesn't do as well, sharpen those things up and try to bring them up to spec, because you got a world-class fighter in Tank Davis that, is on the pound-for-pound list. So you can't have any mistakes. There are no mistakes that are allowed with Tank, So we're going to see what happens on Saturday night. But again, I think Tank can win this one by a knockout, if not a unanimous decision.
Now, again, we revisit the knockout, and that seems to be the same sentiment that comes up time and time again when this fight is being discussed. Yesterday, I brought that up to Bob Santos, the head coach of Hector Luis Garcia. He let me know, hey, look, Carlos Adames is in our camp. Carlos Adames is a bigger puncher than Tank Davis is. He's a bigger guy than Tank Davis is. Hector Luis Garcia stares down the barrel of that gun every day in training. What makes Tank Davis special? What do you think about Carlos Adames and the wild card factor that he may play into this fight?
You know what? That'll give you confidence going up against bigger guys, stronger guys, and guys that can punch. That can give you confidence in a camp, and it can prepare you for bigger fighters. Some of the things that they can't prepare for is Tank's quickness, his hand speed, his explosive power. They can't prepare for that. They can't duplicate that. And because they can't duplicate that, with no headgear on and a smaller glove on a Saturday night, it's a different fight.
Now, Coach, if Hector Luis Garcia does get bombed and go down, I asked your son earlier, does he get up? And he said yes. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely getting up. He's definitely getting up. As many times as he goes down, he's going to get up and fight. Tank's not in for. It's not an easy fight for Tank. I didn't mean to say that at all. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's not an easy fight. He's in a dog fight, but Tank's just a better dog or a bigger dog.
Coach, on the other news in boxing, Earl Spence Jr. doesn't have a fight scheduled. Terrence Crawford just coming off of a devastating KO of David Avanesian. Why can't we get that fight next?
You know what? The business that needs to be worked out here is things that we won't never know about. There's things that they're going to release in the media that you'll hear, and it'll be rumors and running rampant. But what's actually holding it up, the things that are being held up, they're going to keep that to themselves and try to work it out. So we're not going to find out what that is. I don't know what that is. I know neither one of these guys is afraid of the other guy. You know, both of these guys consider themselves to be the best fighter, and they want to take they want the fight. But there's some things that got to be worked out that we'll never know about.
That day when it happened, I believe it was a Sunday. How'd you hear about it, and what was your reaction?
Called me, actually. His mom's called me and asked me, was I still, I said, yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? And then when she told me, we happened to look at the news. We couldn't believe it, so we were shocked and whatnot, and I always tell Tank, like one thing we don't want to never do is put our hand on a woman, you know what I'm saying? And he did, he listened, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for him. His family member, they go through, but they got the counseling, they talked about it, and she told me she just got frantic, you know what I'm saying? And it happens, so the good thing about it, we moving forward.
Were you worried that the fight was going to get canceled, and did you get indication from Showtime that they wanted?
I wasn't really worrying about the fight anymore. I was worrying about him. Bump the fight, because after all this over with, he's still a person. That's all I care about. He know that. You know what I'm saying? You hear me sometimes like, yo, I don't need this. This didn't make me. I'm still going to be me because I stay humble. You know what I'm saying? I was worrying about him and his mental, and how people was looking at it. You notice when he made his tweet, he just wanted to clear his name. That's all he cared about. And that gave him the utmost respect.
Tank mentioned that he doesn't want to be in this for very long. Have you and him spoken about that, how long he wants to stay in?
It's not the thing of him being in it very long. It's just the thing, all the greats, they take time out. Tank been boxing since 7 years old. So at some point in this, he want to sit back and get his thoughts together, because now we don't have Floyd. We don't have Mayweather promotion. It's GTD. So we got to sit there and iron all these things out to understand the real side of the business and put things in place. That's like on his tweet. He said he don't have all these things because they used to take care of everything. So now we got to regroup and put all these systems in place so we can move forward.
Speaking of the split that he had with Floyd, I would imagine you talked to Gervonta a lot about going on his own. What was to him like? Why did he choose to go that path?
Talk to Gervonta about that. Floyd did it when he left Earn. Similar, look at it, but the difference is he paid for his way out. Tank did his tour of duty with Floyd. So it was about time, you know what I'm saying? And Floyd was a man about it, nothing bad about it, because he taught him, and to be honest, they're going to do business again. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be friends again. You know what I'm saying? It's business at the end of the day. I look at them as one and the same. You know what I'm saying? It's Tank time to carry this next generation to where they're going to go at.
How was that relationship between Gervonta and Floyd? Because, like on tweets, you'd see like sometimes people would interpret like little jabs at Floyd.
The reason why, because Floyd was doing his thing. And, as a young fighter and your promoter, you think he's going to be there. And then Floyd, he's doing his thing. And then Tank even said it. He said, shucks, if I was Floyd, I'd probably be doing my thing too. And then you got to remember, Floyd really came a promoter when Tank came around. Because this company been in place. You know what I'm saying? But he really came a promoter when Tank came around. He was more forceful. He was more around. He came to more of the fight. So it was a learning curve with him too. And then Gervonta got to go through the same thing when he bringing on fighters. So again, I'm happy for both of them.
Was there resentment there on Gervonta's part? Like, did he feel like he wasn't getting like enough support?
I wouldn't say that. It was just right now he did his tour of duty. He did his time that he was supposed to do according to the paperwork. So at this time, like, okay, let me see what I do. Floyd talks about it every time. I spent such and such and such, and I made such and such and such. So Tank trying to do the same thing to take care of his family and team too.